Extreme Monsters, Book 1, The Blue Moon Effect, Chapter 5, Missed Opportunity. Don't look now, but we're being followed, Val informed Steiner and Mumford calmly. Uh-oh, that means trouble, muttered Steiner. No, it doesn't, said Val. I've been waiting for a chance like this for days. Huh? Said Steiner, doing a double take. Val just smiled at him mysteriously. A clever plan was hatching in his brain on that beautiful sunny morning. The extreme monsters had just turned onto Main Street. The three teammates were making their way slowly back to Val's place after visiting Doc and Steiner's house on the other side of town. Val was riding a skateboard. Steiner was pedaling his BMX beside him, and Mumford was sketching. He had lashed one of his bandages around Steiner's seat and was using it as a tow rope to pull himself along on a skateboard. More than a week had passed since the extreme monsters had their disastrous meeting with T. Rexford Snatchley. The Halloween games were now just 2 days away. All this time, Doc had been working frantically on developing a new moon screen formula, one that he hoped would protect monsters from the harmful effects of blue moon rays. Earlier this morning, he'd called Val excitedly to say that he'd finally made a breakthrough. The first batch of his NPF 1313, Moon Protection Formula number 1313, was ready. A second batch, large enough to shield 100 more monsters, was in the works. Doc had asked Val to hurry over and pick up the first samples. With this new improved formula, he'd said, the extreme monsters could participate in the game safely, and if weird things did happen, when the moon started turning blue, they would be able to snap into action and rescue moon-struck victims. Now, as the three friends cruised through town, 6 shiny tubes, one for each extreme monster, including Bela, lay tucked away in Steiner's saddlebags. Are you sure we're being followed? Steiner asked. Positive, Val replied. I spotted Clem's line diving behind a mailbox when we left your house. He's been tailing us on his whisperboard ever since. The whisperboard was a stealth skateboard invented by Doc when he'd worked for Damon. It had a miniature jet-powered engine that enabled it to go as fast as a race car. Because it made no noise, Damon's henchmen used it for spying. Where is he now? Steiner said, twisting around for a look. Don't turn your head, Val ordered. I don't want Clem to know we're onto him yet. He increased his board speed and signaled to Steiner to keep pace. Damon has been spying on us long enough, he continued. It's time we turn the tables on him. What do you mean? Steiner asked. Look, Val explained. Damon's no dope. He knows Doc isn't some crackpot scientist and that the blue moon effect is real. But he did everything he could last week to make sure the games went on. Why? It's obvious. You've said it yourself. He's greedy. Val hopped the curb and rode it for a while, grinding his back axle and sending sparks flying. So true, he said, jumping back into the street. But my vampire's instinct tells me it's something bigger. I bet he's got some huge scam planned for the games. Everyone there could be in danger. We've got to find out what he's up to. But how? Steiner asked. And why is having a goon like Clem on her tail a good thing? Because I'm going to trick him into leading me directly to Damon, Val replied. No way, Steiner exclaimed. You are not going to try to sneak inside Pendant Enterprises. In fact, I am, declared Val. Steiner became upset. I can't let you do this.
I know what goes on inside those gates. I once rode for Team Pendant, remember? Damon kept me locked up. I'd still be there if you guys hadn't won my contract. I won't let that happen to you. Don't worry, said Val, with a mischievous smile. I've got a few monster tricks up my sleeve. With a little luck, Damon will never know I'm spying on him. With a little luck? Cried Steiner, swerving to avoid a jaywalker. Are you crazy? You can't do this alone. I'm going with you. Me too, mumbled Mumford. Sorry, guys, Val said. This job has to be solo. Besides, I'm counting on both of you to get Doc's tube safely back to my house. I'm positive that's what Clem is after. We can't let Doc's formula fall into Damon's hands. That's top priority. He looked Steiner straight in his eyes. Now do you understand why we have to split up? I guess so, said Steiner grudgingly. But that doesn't mean I have to like it. Val shifted his position on the board so that he was facing Mumford. Pass me your knapsack, he said. I want Clem to think you're handing over the tubes. Mumford obligingly slipped off his pack and gave it to Val, who quickly strapped it on. As the three extreme monsters rode past the main shopping block, Val gazed over at Steiner and said, Here's the plan. At the next corner you hang a hard right, duck into Joe's garage. I'll turn left and head for the big construction site. Clem will have to make a choice. I'm sure he'll follow me. When he does, you and Mumford head back to my house. Call everybody on your cell and tell them to meet you there. Doc, too. I'll see you in a couple of hours. Good luck, Val, Steiner called as the teammates parted in opposite directions. Val glanced back over his shoulder. It was just as he thought. Clem's line had hung left at the corner and was now in hot pursuit. Val veered off the road and started down a shallow ditch toward the construction site. Clem took the detour too. Val's wheels clattered as he bumped down the rough surface. At the end of the ditch was a long wooden ramp that sloped down into the construction area. Work on the building was still in its early stages. The structure had concrete floors but no walls, and all the steel beams and girders were still exposed, like bones on a skeleton. As he neared the end of the ramp, Val sped up and hunched down low, stretching out his arms for balance. At the last second he sprang up out of his crouch, performing a perfect ollie. He snapped down the tail of his board and soared high into the air. Just to show off, Val hit a 360, spinning all the way around before touching down. He landed gracefully on the concrete slab of the first floor. The slime brother was right behind. He grinned a slimy smile at Val. He came shooting down the ramp, his legs bent deeply at the knees. Uncoiling, Clem nailed the aerial too. As soon as his wheels hit concrete, he kicked his board into hyperdrive. He was closing in fast. Val noticed a long iron pipe poking down at an angle through a big hole in the floor above. The pipe was about as thick as a goalpost, just wide enough to ride. Val put on a tremendous burst of speed and made for it. With a super hearing, Val could hear Clem's rolling not far behind, but he wasn't fazed. Val was really in the zone now. He knew he would soon be quite literally untouchable. Just before the pipe, Val ollied onto the railing and rode a 50-50 grind straight up the incline. As he straight through the opening, he executed a perfect kickflip. The board spun in the air and landed upright on the floor above. Seconds later, Clem rocketed through the opening himself. He popped a monstrous ollie and flew up all 5 steps in one leap.
He reached the top of the stairs, hoping to resume the chase, but Val was nowhere to be seen. His skateboard was sitting abandoned by the ledge of the hull. Clem searched the entire floor methodically, and then the entire construction site, but his quarry had simply disappeared. Clem scratched his head, mystified. He hadn't seen Val fly away or try to steal past him, but he wasn't hiding anywhere in the building either. Dejected at his failure to intercept the extreme monster's captain, Clem hopped on his whisperboard and headed back to report to Damon. If Clem had been a brighter or more observant monster, he might have noticed a faint thread of mist clinging to the end of his board as he snaked through the traffic. Unfortunately, Clem was neither bright nor observant, and so about half an hour later, when Clem and his whisperboard passed through the heavily guarded gates of Pendant Enterprises, so did the almost invisible wisp of mist. Val was in. Damon Christopher was standing in front of a projector screen again, laser pointer in hand. This time he was making a presentation to his henchmen and the members of Team Pendant. The site was Pendant Enterprises' war room, a secure, windowless communication center in the heart of the sub-basement of the Pendant Towers building. "Listen up," Damon was saying. "I have fabulous news. In just 2 days we are going to win the Halloween games. Not just one event, all of them. Even better, in just 2 days, the extreme monsters will cease to be a threat to us. On Halloween, we will gain the power to make Team Pendant the greatest sports team in the history of the world." As Damon's audience stood up and cheered, shivers went up and down Val's misty spine. "Now here's how we're going to pull it off," said Damon. He flashed his pointer on a chart. "We'll have 10 satellite dishes arranged in a circle around the Extreme Sports Park. 2 will send live video of the games to the world, but secretly the rest will be capturing precious blue moon rays." He paused. "Do you have any idea what this means?" The members of his audience looked blank. "Anyone? No one? Okay, well the answer's simple. A monster exposed to a blue moon rays instantly becomes a super monster, stronger, faster, more magical. But best of all, a neutralizer wristband can't cancel that advantage. So a team with a secret supply of blue energy can cheat and cheat and cheat, and nobody will be the wiser. Isn't that fantastic?" He grinned wickedly. "You bet," screamed the Slime Brothers. Damon grinned again. "Doc and I are the only people who really understand the significance of blue moon rays. And last week I knocked Doc and the extreme monsters out of the picture. You know what that means?" Again blank stares. "No one can stop us." His audience applauded strongly. "On Halloween," Damon continued, "I intend to download enough blue energy to last our team a century, and once I do, Team Pendant will be unbeatable. Just watch, companies everywhere will be begging each of you to do TV commercials." At this, Damon's henchmen went wild. Val had heard enough. He drifted slowly toward the air vent, through a grate, and out a duct into a kinder, saner world.